So going back to the OG Generals game, so this is going to be a Deathless challenge mixed together with a can't build any units challenge. Now this is going to be USA, China and GLA Mission 1 all mixed together in the same video here just to get the video length up. Now to start us off, we got one Humvee. I've built it up with Rangers and we're going to put it inside the Chinook. So with this you can cheese the mission pretty easily by sending the Chinook to the back of the GLA base. Mission objective here is to destroy the Scudstorm that they have. But that's not entirely true. If you capture the Scudstorm instead, that'll also count as you clearing the mission. So that's exactly what I plan to do. So I'm going to drop off this Humvee with the 5 Rangers, and their only resistance is going to be Rebels. And they've got a sting site nearby, but it won't be able to reach, so all we've got to do is take out the Rebels, get one of our Rangers to evac, and then capture the Scudstorm, and that'll be how I beat USA Mission 1 Deathless and without building any units too. Now when we get to the stats of this mission, you'll notice that it'll say that I created 1 unit. Now with that, when the mission starts, we'll have a supply center, and when you have a supply center at the beginning of a mission, it'll have spawned a Chinook, and that'll be the 1 unit that was created, but I personally did not create that unit myself. So just figured I'd get that out of the way. Now we capture the Scudstorm. You don't have to use it. It starts off with a 0 timer on it, and the command center and the other buildings are going to get obliterated here because the buildings are very weak. This is like a tutorial based mission. So the next mission that we're doing is USA Mission 1 again, and you're probably wondering why we're back here. Reason why is because I'm going to do this Deathless, but I'm going to do this the intended way. So we're using the repair on some tanks, and we're getting the drones to repair the tanks as well. That's going to trigger the Scorpion tanks before we've fully healed. Doesn't really matter because we've got more than enough tanks to deal with 4 Scorpion tanks. Now the repair ability, we're not actually going to need that again until later on, and that's why I used it straight away. Now the drones can repair any other damage that's being done to the tanks while we wait, because we're going to get the Rangers to go inside the Humvees, and those 2 Humvees are going to join the other forces later on. Easy done. Now with that, we've got 1 big army that can attack the GLA forces. Now before we can actually make moves on the GLA decides to fire off a Scudstorm. So the cutscene has stopped us, and the GLA is firing their Scudstorm in that township. So a lot of people are going to get taken out from that.
Watch those clouds, men. Could be anthrax.
General, Washington orders us to enter the mountains and destroy the enemy Scudstorm.
How about a lift?
Now the Scudstorm's over, I get my Humvees to join the Crusaders, and I'm just waiting on the anthrax to go away. So I'll get 4 Crusader tanks, and I'm moving them to the bottom of the map. Now there's this dozer here that's moving side to side and at the bottom of the map here. Now this dozer, normally a dozer would take like 3 or 4 hits from a tank to take it out. This dozer has very high HP here, so leave a comment down below if there's anything special about this dozer that I should know about. Because my thought process originally was, oh, it's a dozer that's got white coloring, maybe I can occupy it, and then that way I could build more than what a normal USA dozer could build in this particular mission here, because of that high HP. But no, nothing like that. You just take it out with whatever if you want to, don't have to. So with our main forces, I'm moving them a bit closer, trying to trigger the Chinooks into appearing, because there's 2 Chinooks that are going to do a combat drop on the 2 garrison buildings there.
Humvee here. Let's go for it. Civilian buildings are occupied by enemy troops. Assault teams enter those buildings from above.
And meanwhile, back at our scouts, just moving them closer and closer, trying to get around those GLA units. There's going to be 2 technicals on the way. So the first time I did this strat, I used just 1 Humvee, and I didn't know there was 2 technicals there. So 1 Humvee versus 2 technicals won't end well for the Humvee. That's why we're using 4 Crusaders. And I figure if there's anything else besides the 2 technicals after that, we've got decent firepower to deal with it. So back at the main forces, the combat drop has gone off, and I used the Control F command on my units. So that means that the Humvees will only move at the speed of a Crusader tank when I do that. And the reason why I'm doing it like that is just so I can keep everyone together, and that way I can have as much firepower as possible, and the Crusaders can cover for the Humvees, and the Humvees can cover for the Crusaders. Really depends on what we go up against in this battle. Since the GLA is focused on the garrison buildings, I can take out the rebels and the Scorpion tanks, and that way I'm not taking the damage with my units. And that repair ability that I mentioned earlier, the one that I used straight away, that's now ready again. So I could use it now, but there's also going to be a moment where there's 4 Marauder tanks. That was probably the biggest worry I have in this battle, because Marauder tanks are much stronger than Scorpion tanks, and I know that they could easily take out one of my tanks if they gang up on one Crusader tank.
We have cleared the palace. All units continue the
So
advance.
now we've cleared the palace area, we got these 2 Chinooks here, and it's telling us to do the combat drop. So this is sort of like a tutorial based mission, as I said before and earlier in the video. So we take over these 2 buildings. What I wasn't expecting was the Marauders to jump into the fray right away. So with that, that sort of forced me to get in the action as well. Now, what I should have done here is I should have done the evac trick. If you evac the units in the building, that'll draw the tanks closer towards that building. That way you can actually shoot them, but it doesn't really matter because the tanks were, for the most part, focused on the garrison building, so then my Crusaders can pick off the Marauders one by one. Easy done. So there's still 1 Marauder left, and I figure let's play it safe. It's still 1 Marauder, and 1 Marauder could do quite a bit of damage. And I'm just trying to set up some sort of formation with these tanks. That way I can get as much firepower in on the Marauder tank. And here comes the technicals. And they've lined up in the most perfect way. That way my tanks can just pick them off one by one. And yeah, I couldn't have asked for anything better than that. So now the time has come to move in on the Marauder tank, and just like that you got 5 hitting him at once. Even so you got 1 Marauder, it's done about half health, you know, to my one of my Crusader tanks here. So still quite a bit of damage. So I'm still playing this kind of safe here, getting the other 4 Marauders from earlier. So it didn't really matter if we scouted that section or not, it just meant that there's 2 less technicals to deal with.
Crusader tank responding. Proceeding to target zone. Got room for 5.
So the next section of this is going to be 2 tunnel networks as well as a bunch of Scorpion tanks, and I'm just inching my way closer and closer. I don't want the Scorpions to actually move out. Again, I'm not familiar with this mission if they do or if they don't. I'm waiting on this fuel air bomb to strike here. So this is the big bird.
Break it loose.
Boom, just like that. Big obstacle out of the way, and now we can just move in on the GLA base. Now, as you saw in the cheese version of this mission, the buildings are going to get taken out pretty easily here. So we can just pick off the rebels, whatever other units nearby. It's usually just rebels and technicals by this point. And then we can go for the Stinger Sight and the Scud Storm later on. And that'll be how we beat USA Mission 1 the intended way, Deathless, and without building any units too.
Chew on me. Come on. Whoa. Keep the tank. Looks like a good run. Come on. Let's go for it. Rip it up. Looks like a good run. Break it loose. Whoa.
Unit lost.
Two on me. Keep the change. It should be fun. Keep the change. You want some of this? How about a lift? Keep the change. Got room for 5. I'll be here. Come on. Looks like a good run.
Scud destroyed. Baghdad secure. Congratulations, General.
So we've got China Mission 1 next. I'm only going to use 3 Dragon Tanks here. Now moving them forward will trigger 2 car bombs into hitting my 2 bunkers. Now those 2 bunkers have 4 red guards inside them each. Now you're probably wondering, okay, why are we even watching this video then? You lost 8 units. But, funny enough, that doesn't count as a unit lost. So if you truly wanted to save those 8 red guards, you could evac them before moving the Dragon Tanks forward, that way you don't trigger the car bombs. But in either case, it is going to read Deathless when we get to the stats later on. So with our Dragon Tanks, we're going to do a bit of Firestorm action, taking out the Technicals and the Rebels. I will take a bit of damage with the Battle Masters, but we don't need them anyway, as long as they stay alive, that's all that matters. So with that, we're going to go for the tunnel network next, now that everyone's been cleared out. Now we have the repair ability, and we just repair the Dragon Tank, and there goes the tunnel. Now, when we cross the bridge, we're going to set our Dragon Tanks on a path towards this bunker here. So in order to win this mission, we've got to destroy that bunker and then move on to mission 2. Now, by pathing him in this way, we're actually skipping the cutscene where 4 MiGs will attack a bunch of GLA units that are off to the right. So we are saving a little bit of time. This is sort of like a semi-speed run type of situation we got going on over here. Now, if you want to beat this mission, you could also do the Overlords in the bottom left corner. Like 2 Overlords could solo this mission pretty easily. You could do one with a prop center, the other with a Gatling cannon, or both with a Gatling cannon, whichever you prefer. But yeah, pretty easy mission.
Pressure level set. The dragon awakes.
We are victorious.
GLA 1, and just going straight into a battle here. I've got to get the Technicals out of the fray here because there's too many red guards just for one Technical to deal with. So try and get them out of harm's way and also away from the radiation too. I do have bomb trucks as well. Can't use those because if they detonate, that also counts as a unit lost. So my only choice was to run them over with Scorpion tanks. Now Scorpion tanks are going to be the most tanky out of all of the GLA vehicles available in this mission. So with that, I thought we'll run them over, we'll take a little bit of damage, and then we can just repair the tanks later on. So now that the immediate threat has been dealt with, I use my tanks to deal with these buildings. Just set them to guard mode, they can deal with the rest. Now, with the buildings, there's 2 reactors in the mix here. That's going to also let out a bunch of radiation, so I'm positioning my units in a way for when the cutscene plays, my units won't go anywhere near the radiation later on.
We are the just ones. Light tape of the GLA.
Ah, that will teach the Chinese. I killed 3. Vengeance is sweet.
So that's probably the hard part of the mission done. Now, you might notice this, look at the supply stash, there's no worker there, so you only see 3 workers. Now, when we get back to our units, there'll be a fourth worker. So that'll mean that there's going to be one unit created, which I didn't create.
The Chinese have laid claim to this peaceful village and are spreading their vile propaganda among these simple fishermen. We have rumors of a secret arms dealer operating in this area. If we can find him, we can buy weapons for our cause. General, our goal is clear. Destroy the dam. Make the Chinese pay for their arrogance.
I'm hungry. I will send a clear message. Right on schedule.
So, start off the mission. We get our bomb trucks out of the way. We don't need them. And I want to go straight to an arms dealer. So, here's the deal. This is also a can't build any units challenge as well, as I said at the beginning of the video. Now, if I was to build a tunnel network, that would mean that 2 rocket troops would come out of the tunnel, and that would actually count as units being created. So with that, I got to find a different way to repair our vehicles that are being damaged from the earlier attack. And so the only way to do that is going to be with an arms dealer. It's going to be slower than just putting him inside a tunnel and then popping him out later, but it's the only option I've got besides using the repair ability from the general powers.
The Chinese are close. Let's give them a surprise.
Fools. We will fight when we are ready.
I am finished with the building.
Yes, I know. What?
Yes.
See, that was me thinking about, I was like, let's build a tunnel. Like, why build an arms dealer? And then I was like, 2 rocket troops. You can't do that. So now I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have to roll with it. So meanwhile, while I wait on my units to get healed up, I send one technical out to be a scout for me. And I noticed that there's 2 red guards on the battle master. So that was kind of a short excursion for my technical there. But it does mean that I'm able to get him back to base and then get my tanks ready to engage the battle master.
These people will not be mocked.
Well done, General.
Fast as
You
I
have
can.
reached higher rank.
It is good.
So it did take a little bit of excess damage from getting hit by one of my scorpions, but doesn't matter as long as they stay alive. That's all that matters in this challenge.
What do you want? We are going.
So yeah, gotta wait a little bit longer on the vehicles to be ready again. And I do know about the arms dealer that was mentioned earlier in the battle here, but we don't need it. We can just build our own arms dealers. We're not going to build any units, so as long as we got the arms dealer to repair our vehicles, we're good.
Yes, I know.
Just managed to notice a bunch of red guards, and I'm just going to use the technical to do the job.
Still run. Load it.
But yeah, I only got one of the red guards out of that exchange. So I was like, okay, well, you're damaged, so let's get another one to do the job.
Find me a fresh site.
See, I've got to pick my battles here because the technicals are not the strongest of vehicles, so I've got to make sure that if I'm going to run over red guards, it's going to have to be against like a few red guards and not like a big chunk of red guards like at the beginning of the mission where I had to run them over with scorpion
We
tanks.
take what we need. It's still run. Hang on.
Yeah, this time around we're just getting all the technicals to come out. That way we outnumber them, we can just shoot them, and then that'll be the end of the red guards.
No lack of courage.
And we got 4 scorpion tanks to work with, and we still have our workers too. We might not be able to build tunnels, but we can still build arms dealers.
Hammer is heavy.
And so that was my next plan. I thought to myself, well, I might as well just build arms dealers and just inch my way closer and closer to our objective. That way I've got a repair spot nearby that I can rely on, and I won't take up too much time.
We're under fire.
Scorpion tank. Very well. Yes, I understand. Light tank of the GLA. It will be taken care of. Yes, it's good. Infidel. Very well. I will do this.
A little bit of a close call there.
What do you want?
And thankfully,
Our homes are in
the Battlemaster went for the arms dealer, so that was another reason why I built it there specifically, was to use it kind of like a meat shield while I get my other units away from the battle. So with that, I can get my guys healed up since there's no more Battlemasters to worry about for the time being. So while I'm waiting, I think 2 Scorpions should be enough to do a little bit of damage, and we can just keep the Scorpions behind to be support.
Our will is strong. Light tank of the GLA. Scorpion tank. It is good.
Our clan is strong. It. Find me a crash site. Good idea.
Chinese forces approaching.
No lack of courage. Fast as I can. Very well.
The village is guarded. Time for a little ambush.
We fear nothing. It still run. We'll break him down. What's in it for me? We are going. We are going.
I will do my best. We are the just ones. Fast as I can. Yes, I understand. These people will not be mocked. We are the just ones. Our will is strong. Light tank of the GLA. As you request. It will be taken care of. It is good.
What?
Our will is strong.
And there's a couple of Battlemasters and some Red Guards, so I figure I might as well take those guys out with my Vet 2 and Vet 3 Scorpions, so that should be easy work for those guys. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of these campaign missions, so I thought to myself, well, I may as well take out the Battlemasters and the Red Guards just in case they were to chase me as I'm going to the dam that we need to destroy. So that was my thought process here. I probably didn't even need to take out this stuff in the first place. I probably could have just made my way to the dam, no problem. But yeah, I figured I'd better be safe than sorry here, so that's why we did that. And with that out of the way, we can send our Scorpions and Technicals up this hill here, and then we can get to the dam.
We have found a secret way. It's thoroughly guarded.
We fear nothing.
I will do my best.
So on our way to the dam, I see 4 Red Guards and 1 Battlemaster. And I figure we may as well take out the Battlemaster, then we'll run over the Red Guards. So we try that, and yeah, we do take damage from our own tanks, but we're able to stay in the game, just barely. So it was a little bit of luck involved in this battle too. That being said, I'm not really making the best choices with the Scorpion tanks. I probably could have taken a lot better care of them as I was playing this mission. So with these Red Guards, these are the last line of defense before we can actually get to the dam. So I'm just setting up the right formation with the Technicals, and then that way I can get the most damage done on the Red Guards without the Red Guards damaging me.
Dam in our
We'll
sight.
take him apart.
Fire!
Yep, so with that out of the way, I just went straight in. I just went straight into hitting this dam and doing as much damage as possible. One guy decided to drive a little bit too far, took a few hits from my own units, but we're able to stay in the game. No one was lost, and the dam is now broken.
Such is the fate of our enemies. Ruin and death. Behold, doom has come to our
So with that is how I did USA, China, and GLA Mission 1 without building any units, and also doing it deathless too. So if you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do have a Command & Conquer playlist if you want to check out any of my other content. I'm Cryklo, I'll see you next time. Bye.
Ah, that will teach the Chinese.